Welcome to Drawing Conclusions.
What are you, crazy? Here
Sorry.
Quiet Place, which is directed by and starring John Krasinski and real-life wife Emily Blunt, is an intense thriller with a scary premise. Let me tell you.
Yeah, it takes like all of your fears as a parent about how you can protect your kids and just turns them all up to 11, right? It just totally preys on this thing about you as a parent where you are afraid for your children out in the real world every single day.
Right. Well, first off, let me say this movie was a really unique experience. It is so different than any other movie that I've seen in this genre of like kind of a thriller with a science fiction angle / twist. Without trying to give too much away, to me, this was a really unique experience. That's all I can really say about it.
Yeah. Well, the movie, if you've seen the trailers,
right.
Then you know a bit about the premise, this idea of, or if you've heard the tagline, if they hear you, they'll hunt you.
Right.
So the movie itself is very quiet for a lot of the movie.
Right.
There definitely is not, there is sound throughout the movie, but it's very quiet. And it's very still, a lot of the movie. Like, the movements are very
deliberate
and still and stuff, right? And so there definitely was this stillness in the theater around us. Like what you were marked on when we were done watching it. It's like you'd never heard an audience that quiet before.
Yes, this is the quietest I've ever heard an audience. Nobody, like, crackling popcorn, chattering, whispering to their, friend next to them. None of that. It was really quiet.
Yeah, so we were actually at a theater where you can order food and they deliver it to you. And so we were having some spinach and artichoke dip when the movie started, right?
Yeah,
and I'm crunching on my tortillas and my tortilla chips that go with it. I was like, this feels wrong. I'm going to stop eating this. Like, I felt like all of the hundreds of people around me in the theater could hear every single crunch of the tortilla chip in my mouth, because that's how quiet it was.
Now, about the movie itself, I think John Krasinski and Emily Blunt work really well in this film.
Yeah.
They feel like a married couple. I mean, they are, but it works on screen too. They've got great chemistry together. The children, the kid actors in the show, they're also very good.
Yeah.
They handle the material very well.
Right.
Not a big cast, and it worked.
It worked. One of the things we were talking about with the kid actors is that, children actors can be so hit and miss, and they can be so difficult, and I think it takes a really good director to work with them and things like that. But also I feel like sometimes scripts are not written well for children, and they put dialogue in kids' mouths that they don't know how to say, that it's too grown up or something, and it's awkward. But this movie really benefits from the children not really having spoken dialogue much throughout the film. So you really get to just tune in to what's going on with their body language and their facial expressions and just tapping into the emotions. And children are so naturally emotional and connected to their emotions that, for children actors, I felt like this kind of movie really played to their strengths, and it really helped the whole movie feel so much, it just worked so much more. Mm-hmm. I was really nervous about seeing this movie. I am not a fan of scary movies. And in fact, I tweeted right before we were going to see this that I was going to go see A Quiet Place because I never want to go to sleep again. It looked really, really scary.
Yeah.
But the things that was really interesting to me about it actually was it was not that scary. In fact, there were some trailers that we saw before the movie that scared me more than the movie itself.
Right.
So this is really more intense and scary, and that there are scary moments. There are definitely scary moments. And but it's more gut-wrenching than
it's more of
scary.
It's more of a thriller than a horror film.
And more of a drama, because it's really more about the parents and the family and their experience than it is about the creature, itself that is at the heart of that's the catalyst for what's happening in their world. But the movie opens with this really brilliant scene, actually.
Yeah.
And establishes right away the relationships between the characters in the family and
the serious nature of their situation.
Right. Gives you a sense of what's going on right away. And and then, you know, the whole movie is you're tense. You're tense the whole movie because you're waiting for the other shoe to drop, because in the very opening of the movie, they, you know, this 300-pound man wearing a steel-toed combat boot kicks you in the teeth and then in the gut and takes all the wind out of your sails and then drops his shoe on the ground. That's what it felt like. And then you're just waiting for the other shoe to drop the whole entire movie. You know, that like, okay, oh crap, how is it, you know, something worse is obviously going to happen at some point. You know, that's how you're feeling. Or you feel this terror a bit for the family. So
yeah, a lot of impending doom kind of sensation throughout the show.
And there were, since watching the movie, I've gone online and read some of the complaints that people have about the film, and which most of the reviews are really good from both users, both viewers, you know, regular viewers and critics. But one of the things that people complained about was that there were moments where you could tell, like they telegraphed too much what was going to happen. Like you knew certain things were going to come up later because the foreshadowing was a little too obvious or too strong. But I actually felt that really worked for me.
Yeah.
Like I mean, there are definitely things that happened that I wasn't expecting, so I didn't feel as predictable as some people said. But in those moments where you just knew something was going to happen, that anticipation of what was going to happen.
Yeah, anticipation can be just as bad as like a surprise.
Right. Yes, the anticipation of what was going to happen really worked. In favor of this movie for me and the way I experienced it.
Well, I thought it was odd that people had complaints about it being slow. I didn't feel that at all. I was not bored during this show, and it is a lot of drama in the show between the family members. But it just kind of lets you get a peek into their life and this crazy world that they're thrust into, and I kind of like those kind of movies where you get invested in the characters, and I thought it was very moving and really well done. Well,
and for people who think it's slow, I mean, again, to me, it lent itself to the kind of feeling and story that they were trying to tell. You know, it made you feel more tense. That built the anticipation of what might happen.
Yeah.
And it also just like really made you sympathize with the characters and the kind of life that they had to live in the situation that they're in. Like you said, it made you more invested in them.
So if you're a person who's more of a fan of like the sci-fi horror genre, splatterfest kind of movies, this might not be for you. I think you might still enjoy it, but if that's what you're looking for, then you will be disappointed. If you're looking for something that's more cerebral, though, and really thought-provoking and just kind of emotionally driven, then I think you really enjoy this movie.
Yeah, so I was afraid that this movie would keep me up because I was afraid.
Freaked out.
But actually, it kept me up because I kept thinking about it.
Yeah.
And I kept thinking about my children and our life, our family.
Right.
And what would happen, how would we deal with this situation? How long would we survive in the same circumstances, which I determined would be about 30 seconds.
I will give this movie 5 Schrute bucks. I think it was well done. John Krasinski did a really great job directing this movie, and starring in it as well.
Yeah, it was really good performances. Emily Blunt is brilliant.
Yeah, she was fantastic.
And if she doesn't win an Oscar someday, then just Hollywood doesn't know what they're doing. I think she's one of the best actresses out there right now, and she is really great in this film. And John Krasinski is also very good, and I can agree with. I'm not sure it's a 5 Schrute buck movie.
5 Stanley Nichols.
But maybe a 4 or 4.5 Schrute bucks. I mean, it was really good, and it is very different than anything I've ever seen on the big screen before, and very moving.
Yeah.
That's it. Thank you so much for watching this edition of Drawing Conclusions. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thanks so much.